Okay, the Vitali magazine system in the Italian Vetterlis is pretty interesting. Like I said, first and foremost, the Italians put this sheet metal support on here. Now this is locked, secured with one screw and a nut that you use, like a little prong or something, slotted nut. It used the standard, just like on 80, the standard front screw comes through, but they bent this around so it's probably longer. And then that front screw and the rear screw hold the receiver and this together. And it keeps that sheet metal thing on there. Now, Vitali's magazine, you can see where this screw here, come on, alright, comes up and under pressure engages the receiver. Okay, which is now that thing is pinned on there so the receiver's solid, it doesn't hook off anymore. The beauty of this is they machine out the stock, and this whole magazine system is a little drop-in unit. Now the cutoff, like you've seen, all the cutoff is doing is when you flip it over, you can see it better now. It just moves a piece of sheet metal over the top of the magazine. So you push the cartridges down past these two little locking things, and when you rotate that over, it blocks off the top of the magazine. Okay, push the cartridges down, there's just something that interrupts the mag. Now, like I said, these are similar to the Dutch, and they both work the same. Okay, you have a follower in that. Now, like I said, with the beauty of it, it's a drop-in unit. Now, if you look inside here, you have a couple little retainers. These little things here retain this floor plate. And what you would do, and be careful because these parts are small, and it's usually, this is all rusted and crud in there. What you do is you kind of pry these up. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, there's a spring loaded. You to press down and pry up. Do this one here. Yep. Push down and kind of swing it over. And then when you get the both of them out like that, little wings, this one on. And you see he's got this really weird spring. That's your magazine spring. That's your follower plate. These little tabs ride down in that groove there. And little tabs go there. There's a hole in the bottom to let moisture out. And you see these little devices retain it. Sheet metal receiver. Basically, that's how you strip it. Now, I had one, I think I had a Dutch one where that spring is bad. And again, finding parts is going to be way difficult. And to assemble it, just take your spring, put it in the center hole here. Be careful because that spring is super thin and small. Push it down, and that one locks in. That one locks in, and there you go. You field stripped your magazine and checked it out. I really didn't clean this one up much, but that's it. That's kind of the beauty of this, is you cut out the stock, drop it in, goes through the same, very simple modification. Kind of gotta like it, man. So that's the magazine ordeal. And as usual, see they had to cut out the stock. Now on the Dutch ones, like I said, this stock on this purpose-built gun is a little bit heavier. The Dutch never reinforced that. And their magazine cutoff thing is a little bit more complicated than this. But they did have to modify the receiver and everything else to get the cutoff and all that other stuff to work. And the Dutch modification also, bolt and everything else. So in a way, you can take guns you have issued, and with this drop-in conversion, oh, and another thing I forgot. If you look at the front of this, you'll see where it's drilled and tapped. They ran into a problem when they converted these rifles and the TS. When the magazine went in there into the stock, if you can look down in here, you'll see where the cleaning rod comes in there out of that hole. So they had to shorten the cleaning rods and drill and tap this hole in there. So when you put your cleaning rod in, you're actually threading it into the forward part of the magazine. That was another modification that had to be done because of that. And like I said, once we get it inspected and everything, it just drops back down in here. Real nice. Okay, then we just assemble it. I'm thinking, I believe that's about it for the magazine. Not much else to go on about it. Like I said, it's a simple modification. So I guess that'll cut it, and we'll go into the reassembly video. Okay, so in my discussion of this particular gun and everything, I disassemble it. So it's carried out over a different segment of video. So I'm going to wind this all up by doing a reassembly video. And again, this is the TS. So this is a little bit smaller, shorter than the full-size rifle. So we have our magazine housing. After we've checked it out and everything, we put it back in there. Now, like I said, the tricky part, I left this sheet metal thing on there, and there should be enough room. We have to get our trigger and sear mechanism in here. Probably best to do this with dropping it in. We can leave the magazine out for now. And yeah, it's basically a matter, put it down in there, slide it up under the sheet metal, and then let this drop down. Okay, to where it's sticking up like this. You know it's correct. Alright. Then we can drop our magazine back down in here. Alright. And we take our receiver, barreled action, line it up in the stock, and it's just going to be the part of getting that sear lined up. There we go. So your sear comes up in a proper place, everything's there. Now you can flip it over on top, one screw, two screws. Do the rear one first. That'll help line it all up. Kind of hold things in place. Here, rear screw, sorry about that. And then this is the one, this one's going to put some pressure on that plate. So you may have to bear down on it. Yep, you gotta bend that. There we go. Once it starts getting in, be careful not to screw the threads up. that in nice and tight. And then you will see this plate will compress down. Double check this one. This one's got a little bit more to go. Okay, we drove that up. Our stock is back in fairly good. Now, like I said in my other videos, this spring, as you see, is stuck. I'll have to work on this. What I'm going to do is drive it out, clean it, oil it and that. But for now, I am not going to worry about that too much. I'll just put this down on here. Tighten it up some. Alright. Get the rest of our parts. Okay, cleaning rod, threaded. As we've seen, when this goes in the channel, down to there, this may be the wrong one if it sticks out too far, and then it must thread in, which it could be. Threads in there. Then we make sure we have our ring here in the correct position. Slide our tab back out. Take our bolt. This is the one with the face, so make sure you got the right bolt. Place it in there, push this back, lock it in place, and there you go. We have our gun assembled on safe. And that's about it with the Vetterli 1870/87 series. I think I just about covered everything. Okay.